Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do gardening related videos. I'm at Lowe's. It's the first week in May and I'm checking out their newest plant inventory. Surefire sign that we're about to heat up, guys, is when the sunflowers show up. These are a beauty. These are an annual, and these are going to be $29.98, and that's simply because you're buying this fancy pot, and it's a Sunfinity brand, right? It's an upright annual. It only blooms in the summer. It blooms and blooms and blooms. You can collect the seeds, and you can plant again next year. Also new in May, we have some Royal Candle Speedwell, which I absolutely adore. These are bee magnets. They do absolutely amazing in my yard, and I'm starting to see them come back. These are going to be $7.98 for a 2-quart or a 2.5 quart. Let's see, a 2-quart. So there it is. Royal Candle Speedwell, also known as Veronica. These beauties here are so nice. They look like a candle because they're upright, hence the name. The bees love them. Perennial and requires full sun. So I showed you these last week, and you're going to see more and more of these come in because these are the tropicals. These are the mandavillas. Great as a climbing plant for a mailbox, a trellis, the side of your house. They have the reds, they have the pinks, and they have the whites. Right? Also in this area, we have hibiscus. This is the tropical hibiscus right here. This is a tropical hibiscus that will not come back. They are a beauty. They're going to be $19.98. They are a beauty, but requires heat. And in the winter, it will die unless you decide to protect it, bring it inside, bring it in the basement or the garage with some sort of sunlight. They also have the True Bloom, True Friendship. This is a landscape rose. I have the True Serenity, True Passion, True, and two other ones. I don't think I have the True Friendship, but I have to double check. These beauties here, of course, they're a rose, so they require full sun. Don't plant them in an area that stays wet or where your downspout is. Plant them up inch or 2 inches above the soil grade, and they do absolutely amazing for me in the clay. These guys here are going to be $24.98. They've got more of the White Mountain Shasta Daisies, which I have in my garden and does amazing. Again, $7.98 here at Lowe's. These are going to be full sun. Heat-loving Coreopsis, which I also have in my garden. This guy here is just a dwarf Coreopsis for $7.98. And here is the tag, dwarf Coreopsis. They also got some more of the, these guys here, which I don't really buy them. This is the dianthus right here. This is the Jolt dianthus. Really nice, beautiful wine red kind of color. Really, really nice. Also $7.98. And then they have some of the Happy Returns daylily, which I love. Daylilies do great in my garden. They love full sun. They like to stay moist, and they bloom and bloom and bloom all the way down to the frost. Also new for May is the Calipatite Calibrachoa, guys. These are great, and they are full sun plant. They do well in a container, a hanging basket, or some sort of a shallow container, guys. Now this Calipatite is, they have the red one right here. They've got the purple one right here. And they've also got the pink one right here. Really, really nice annuals to make a statement in your garden. As it heats up, you're going to start seeing more sun patiens, guys. These are beautiful. They love the sun, but they must stay moist, guys, because what's going to happen is when it gets really nice and hot and humid, you're going to water it and it's still going to be drooping. So I have mine in, when I buy mine, I don't put mine in direct sun, especially in Georgia. I put them in part sun and they do absolutely amazing. You can see they have the orange and they have that really nice red. Again, these are annuals that will reseed for me here and there. And they're going to be $6.98. Right next to that, they have another annual that I love that also reseeds. This is Celosia or Celosia. This beauty here is going to be $8.98. They have some really nice colors in general. Right now, they only have this orangey one, or this yellow one. Well, actually, no, they do have an orangey one right there. So they have orange and yellow so far. $8.98. Really great to create some structure in the container. Really, really nice. If you like Gabera Daisy or Gabera Daisy, these beauties here, another one that gives you a lot of color. We've got orange, we've got white, we've got yellow, we've got like a mauvey pink, we got a fuchsia. These are all going to be in a nice white container, hence the $16.98 price tag. But they will bloom and bloom and bloom all the way down to the frost. Also new in May, guys, we have the Florida Sunshine Alyssum, which I have in my garden and does amazingly well. This beauty here is saying it's a part shade to shade, but for me personally, mine is in full shade. Before I cut mine, remember when I cut those trees down in the front? It opened me up to part shade now, which it's giving me a little bit more sun than this guy can take. But either way, it still does great. It turns really nice and yellow in the fall and has this really nice chartreusey green color. Otherwise, it is really, really nice. Grows somewhere between 5 feet tall and 3 feet wide. Really, really great in my Georgia garden. They've also got Limelight hydrangeas in a 6-gallon, guys. Here it is. It's a more wider pot, and this is what it looks like. It looks like it's stretching a little bit if you ask me. But you guys, we all know and love the hydrangea. Limelight is a panicle hydrangea. Simply means it blooms on new wood, and it can take more sun than the macrophylla, and it has these beautiful white blooms. This is going to be a whole $59.98, guys. Let me know if you have Limelight and how it does in your garden. I don't think I've ever seen this guy. This is Miner's Gold Lomandra. This beauty here is $21.98, guys. It's a full sun to part sun grass-like plant. It reminds me of the carex, which I have, but it looks like it's going to grow even taller than the carex. This is in a 1.5 gallon, guys, for $21.98. Hardy from zones 8 to 10, though, and this is what it looks like. This would look really, really great to brighten up an area that is a little bit dull, if you love those kinds of stuff. But again, these are from the Southern Living Plant Collection, $21.98, Miner's Gold. Let me know if you have this guy. I've never seen it, and I don't have it in my garden. All right, they have some new bloom-struck hydrangeas. These are reblooming macrophylla hydrangeas from the folks at Endless Summer. I have many of these in my garden. I got them all on clearance over the years, and they're all doing great. Mine are in part shade. I dare not put this thing in even part sun or full sun. It will get scorched and beat up by the Georgia weather. So mine are in part shade, and they still do great there. These guys here, $28.90 for a 2-gallon, and let me know if you have these guys in your garden. We've got some new Summer Crush reblooming hydrangeas as well. Now these guys, they come out red for me, and they do really, really great. Again, $28.98 in a 2-gallon, and this is what they look like, and they're pretty much budded up. Mine have leafed out. They haven't been budded up yet. Obviously, we're seeing buds because these are coming straight from the greenhouse, but these do really, really well in my yard. These beauties here are hardy from zones 4 to 9. Let me know if you have these. Even more crepe myrtles have arrived, guys. Now, this is the Bloomables brand. These are going to be $26.98, guys. Now, this is the Bellini grape they have up here, right? I have Bellini in my yard. Don't know offhand exactly which Bellini, but I do have a Bellini. But they have the grape and they have the strawberry. These can take the Georgia heat, the Georgia humidity. They bloom later on in the summer, so you're getting something to take you all the way down to the fall, guys. They are beautiful. They've got one more of the drift rose. This one is a scarlet drift. This one is more of a red. And again, like I mentioned earlier, it is a ground cover rose, and this is what the blooms look like. These are going to be full sun and are going to be $25.98. To be outdone by the happy returns, they do have a lot of Stella d'Oros, which is usually the main daylily you see in, well, I see in my store all the years ago. You know, they just have all, if you're going to see daylilies, most likely you're going to see the Stella d'Oro. I have a bunch of these in my garden, guys. So many. They do absolutely amazing. They take full sun. They like to stay a little bit wet, and they actually only bloom for a day. But what happens is that it's so many buds, you get the constant blooming and blooming. And I must say, this is one of the most reliable perennials in my garden. You can divide this guy. It won't take to the shock as much as other plants would. It divides really easily, and it will double in size as the years go by. This is going to be $7.98. So they have some more of the bloomstrucks, but the difference is this one is going to be a whole $40.98, guys. And that's because it's in what is considered a nice, fancier pot. Now, this is the regular old bloomstruck that we saw somewhere else for $16.98 in a 1 gallon and $28 in a 2 gallon. But this is the reason why this is the pot. Now, when bloomstruck comes out for me, it is not pink. It is a bluey purple, which I prefer. I've got enough pinks, I've got enough reds, and it's simply because of my clay. My clay is very acidic, so most of my macrophyllus will come out to be a nice purpley blue. They've also got some blueberries. This one is the pink lemonade blueberry, guys, which I love in my garden. I have mine in containers. Blueberries love acidic soil, so I would put them in a container that's larger than usual and also wider than it is deep. I have to protect mine because my birds and my chipmunks and everybody else wants to get to them before me, but I love some blueberries. This is going to be $24.98 in a 2 gallon here at Lowe's. So they have some more hydrangeas here. Now, one is saying it's an indoor decor hydrangea, this one here, in this nice white fancy pot. And then this one here doesn't say indoor. It just says a typical part sun hydrangea, right? But they look pretty much the same to me. In any case, it looks like they're both going to be $12.98. They've got lots and lots of annuals, guys. Of course, they have marigolds up here. And another guy here that I think the bees absolutely go nuts for is the Torenia or Torenia. They have a pinky red, a light pink, and they do have this bluey purple one here with a yellow throat. The bees go nuts in an annual basket for these guys here, right? It's going to be $1.98. They also have this guy here, which I believe is an annual salvia here. The hummingbirds will thank you if you buy this. Of course, you can tell why. It has that tubular flower that they go nuts for. On top of that, it is red. Even more of the marigold. Now, this one is saying African marigolds. I usually see the French marigold. It doesn't matter. They're all beautiful anyway. And then they have the impatiens right here, which is more of a part sun to shade annual. All are going to be $1.98. I'm standing here in front of the Climbs Hardy Gardenia, which smells absolutely amazing. But you guys know my story with Gardenia. I finally pulled all of them out except for the Diamond Spire. I pulled out the Jubilation, the August Beauty, the Frost Proof, the Full Proof. I am done with them as of now. But this Climbs Hardy is in a small pot, only a 2.5 quart for $10.98. And these guys bloom in the spring and the summer, they say, but gardenias do not do well in my garden. They've got some new autumn sangria. These are azaleas. This is the Encore series. These guys bloom spring, summer, and fall. They can take way more sun than your old-fashioned azaleas, guys. I have so many of the, well, I don't have sangria, but I have many of the Encore series in my garden. They've just brought in a lot of the macho fern, guys. It's a part sun plant. Don't have it in my yard. It's a tropical plant. $17.98. Let me know if you've bought this one and how do you put it in your garden or in a container or something. I've always seen it, but I never buy it. But I do sure love their foliage. $17.98. One of my favorite annuals, really. I mean, I have a lot of favorites, but the vinka is so reliable, and it does reseed sometimes. Most times it doesn't, but sometimes a random vinka will show up. Love them because they have the whites and the pinks and all that good stuff. This is going to be in like, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. So they have a 12 pack here for $13.98, right? Of course, vinkas are full sun and they will go all the way down to the frost. Got the Beacon Impatiens that's in a hanging basket for $9.98, guys. Bloom spring and summer. I don't have impatiens in my yard, to be honest with you. I know they're great. I've tried them out before, but I'm not really a fan, so I don't have any. But I know people who do, and they do well in their garden. This guy, again, is a beauty. Looks like it's going to be some really nice orangey red. I'm beginning to see Coleus show up in the store, guys. You know, I'm a big fan of Coleus. One, because they're great in containers, and Coleus is one of the easiest plants to propagate, especially when it gets cold and you don't want that plant to die. You can propagate it by putting it in some water or some soil. This particular one here is the Flamethrower Chili Pepper Coleus, $3.98, and that's what it looks like. Right next to that is another Coleus. This particular one here is the Flamethrower Habanero. Again, they're both going to be annuals unless you bring them inside and propagate them. Right next to that, guys, we have some sweet potato vine. It apparently is. Yes, there it is right here, $3.98. I always see these guys and I never buy them. Nothing against them, but I'm not a fan of the potato vine craze, but they have them here at Lowe's. They've got a lot of the clematis or clematis, these beauties here. I have one in my garden. I have the Bernardine, which I've shown you over the last 2 to 3 years. This one is the Boulevard Tranquillite clematis. This is a spring to summer bloomer. It's a vine, so you need a trellis. $18.98. The Bernardine one I had gotten on clearance. It was rough looking, guys. It was barely holding on to the soil, and here we are 3 years later, and Bernardine is doing absolutely amazing. This is what the flowers look like on the Boulevard Tranquillite. And then they have this guy here, which is the Petite Faucon, Clematis, $18.98. Blooms in the spring and the summer. This one here looks like it just got in here because I don't see any blooms at all. But let me know if you have this one. It looks like it's more of a purple bloom, part sun. People go nuts for the Diamond Frost Euphorbia, guys. They are here at Lowe's for a whole $6.98 for an annual. This beauty here, I've seen them in pots and containers. They do really, really nice. Now, I do something and see something on the side of my eye. What is this? Never seen this guy before. Okay, how do you pronounce this now? Heliotropium? Heliotropium. This guy here's a full sun plant. What is this? I like this. You see that? I like that. I like that. And they have a whole bunch of them here. Let me know if you have this guy in your garden and how it does. Now, it's obviously an annual because it's in the annual section, hardy to 20 degrees, but I've never seen this plant before. All right, right next to that is purslane, which I love, another plant I use in my containers. Purslane is great. It can take the heat and it looks nice in a hanging basket. $6.98. And what I like about purslane is it's not just one color. You'll see the red and the yellows and the purples. Really, really nice. I'm a big fan of Nepeta, guys. Some people call it Nepeta. This beauty here takes full sun, and the bees pretty much do gymnastics on these flowers in the summer, guys. They are absolutely amazing. I have the cat's meow, and I have the cat's pajamas, and they both do well. Now, they definitely, if you get to the point where the plant is like split and open or something, it's definitely time to divide. But this beauty here is an amazing guy for the full sun, and it actually smells amazing. When you brush against it, it actually smells like spearmint to me. It does really, really well. I've had them for over 3 years, and they come back reliably. Of course, you guys know I'm a big fan of sedum. This one is the Autumn Joy, my favorite perennial because it's so reliable. It has something to look at all year round. The bees and the swallowtail butterflies go nuts for this thing. This beauty here, it is just so exciting to see the mound grow as the weeks go by in anticipation of the beautiful pinky red blooms. Here's another Coreopsis. Now this one here is going to be the sun-kissed Coreopsis. Now I have the uptick and I have a dwarf with no name, but this is the sun-kissed Coreopsis, guys. Again, most Coreopsis are going to tell you full sun. This is one of the longest blooming perennials in my garden. Once this thing starts to bloom, it does not stop until somewhere around Thanksgiving. I kid you not. Coreopsis do absolutely amazing. Now, one thing I must say, you want to deadhead because they sometimes don't look too great when they're not deadheaded, but they are a beautiful sun-loving perennial that comes back for me every single year. Here we have Gaillardia, also known as blanket flower, a short-growing perennial. Doesn't grow that tall at all, probably somewhere between 12 or 16 the most, but they can take the heat, guys, and the bees absolutely love them. Let me know if you have these guys. Now, this one is the Arizona Sun, which I have in my garden and does extremely, extremely well. It is not the longest living perennial, so you're not going to have it forever and ever, but it does reseed. So even though the main plant might die over the years, you should start seeing babies as well. A really nice full sun perennial. Ascot rainbow euphorbia is an interesting plant for me because it doesn't do well in the ground for me, but I put it in the container and it is thriving. Love it because it's something to look at all year round. Even in the winter, this guy still has foliage, guys. Now, the Ascot euphorbia, here it is. Full sun right here, $13.48, guys. This is what the foliage looks like, and it is hardy to 0 degrees. And it's so funny, even in a container where I thought it would not thrive because it only goes to 0 degrees, that's where it likes it. Standing right here, and this beautiful Sunny Keys Oriental Lily smells absolutely amazing. This is an Oriental, so of course you know it has a fragrance compared to the Asiatics. I feel like their blooms are a little bit bigger and bolder, but I have nothing against the Asiatics. I love them both. Now, the Sunny Keys, this is a perennial, of course. It blooms in the spring and the summer for $26.98. It looks like they have maybe 6 bulbs in there, hence that price. I mean, that's pretty close to the $30 thing. And the only how I can think is it has to be a couple of bulbs in there, right? This is what the blooms look like. It smells really, really nice and is hardy to -30. What I love about Oriental lilies and Asiatics, they actually can take the freeze. They are very, very hardy, and they have a lot of them here at Lowe's. This beauty here is Sunny Martinique Oriental Lily. How pretty is this, guys? The blooms are huge and it smells amazing. This is also going to be $26.98, guys, and I'm counting 5 bulbs in this container. Blooms spring and summer and requires full sun. Love me some Oriental lilies, guys. How pretty is this? This guy is hardy to -40. Still on the Monrovia table, guys, we have the LA Summer Snow Lily, a perennial. $15.98, guys, and it is all budded up. This is going to be an Asiatic lily for you guys, and it is hardy to -40. It says it has extreme cold hardiness, and it has a superior quality, and you want to keep the soil semi-moist. Let me know if you have this guy. Now, I don't have this particular variety, but I do sure love me some Asiatics lilies as well. Even more annuals, guys. This is the Mexican heather that does really, really well for me in a container every single year. And believe it or not, the hummingbirds love this guy. Look how small these blooms are, and they still love it. More of the proven winners petunia here. This is the Supertunia Vista. This one here is the bubblegum. Guys, people go nuts for this thing. This is going to be a whole $6.98, and we already know it's an annual. Also over here we have some impatiens. They've got some of the lemon coral sedums from Proven Winners that does really, really well in people's gardens. People love this one. Right next to that, they have begonias and zinnias and more of the Super Bell's double smitten pink calibrachoa. Right, they have a lot of those. And this guy here that I've never seen before, really, this one here is saying a safari dusk. Never seen this guy before. It says James Britannia hybrid. Let me know if you have this guy. That's what it looks like. And then even more of the new, well, not the more, this is New Guinea impatiens, which I like because it's a cross between two types of impatiens. This beauty here is a mountain annual that blooms all the way down to the fall, guys. It's going to be $16.98, and it prefers to be in the shade. When I buy mine, it's in the parts shade, and it does really, really well. They have this really nice white and this really nice orangey red. We have some Caladiums. This particular one here is the Heart to Heart Chinook by Proven Winners. This guy here is going to be $9.98. It is a shade plant. Now, some Caladiums will come back because I think they're having them as a zone 8 or 9. But for me personally, Caladiums have never come back. I bought them once years ago and they never did. And I don't like them enough to invest too much money and time in them. But I cannot deny the fact that they are a beautiful plant. Let me know if you have Caladiums or this particular variety in your garden. Monrovia has prepared some combos, guys. This is going to be $39.98. It's the begonia fern combo, they say. Partial sun. So, of course, I recognize the begonia here. I recognize the fern here. And this is, I believe, the polka dot plant, but don't quote me on that. It's interesting looking, and of course you're paying that price because you have what is considered a fancier pot. Let me know if you usually do your own containers or if you buy the pre-done ones. This beauty here is the Magic Show White Wands Veronica, guys. Have this guy in my yard. Doesn't grow that tall, right? Got it on clearance maybe 2 years ago. It came back reliably and it's been doing great. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Veronica's draw in the bees for me personally, guys. This beauty here is from Proven Winners, $13.48, guys, and requires full sun, hardy from zones 4 to 8. They've got Evening Sunset Primrose, and here is the tag right here. Now, I won't buy primrose again. It is literally invasive. It's taken over the back of my garden. I've only bought 1 or 2 plants, and from that, pretty much most of that back is taken over by primrose. Now, I'm not denying the fact that these things are gorgeous, but they do spread a little bit for my taste. Let me know if you have evening primrose and how they do in your garden. This is going to be $7.98, a full sun plant. We've also got some Geum. This particular one here is the Mrs. Bradshaw Geum, $7.98, a full sun plant. I'm a big fan of Geum. When I first started out gardening, Geum didn't perform well for me, and I kind of left it alone for a few years, and then I came back to it again, and it seems to be taken well. This beauty here is going to be $7.98, full sun plant here at Lowe's. They've also got some bird of paradise, guys. This is a spring blooming plant, they say, and it's going to be $26.98. Really, really nice looking plant. Now, this will not come back for me because it is hardy to zone 9, but it is a really, really, really nice looking plant. Let me know if you have bird of paradise. As usual, Lowe's has a lot of boxwoods. They've got wintergreen, and they've also got baby gem. They also got this guy here, which I really, really like. This is the Ebbings silverberry. I don't have it, but I like it because it has this really nice silvery foliage. Really, really nice. This is not a very expensive shrub at all, guys. It blooms in the fall, they say. It's probably just a little bit of a bloom, not anything that takes over the plant. It's $19.98 and requires full sun. So here's the Japanese boxwood, right? Is Japanese boxwood, and then over here is the wintergreen boxwood, which is the Korean boxwood, which is the one I have that does really, really well in my garden. This is the better boxwood. This one is, they bred this one to be a little bit more disease resistant because we know that boxwood do have boxwood blight after a while. This is going to be $14.98. This beauty here is hardy to from zones 5 to 9. And then further over, guys, we have the compact Japanese hollies here that are going to be part sun for me, especially because of our heat, $10.98. Bordeaux Yopon holly, guys. This is going to be $22.98. This is in a 2.25 gallon. Usually, if it's in a black pot, it's going to be cheaper than it's in a branded pot, right? At least $3 cheaper than that. I don't have the Yopon holly, but I've seen it every year, and it always looks great in the store. Full sun plant. Never, never, ever a shortage of rose, guys. We've got the knockout roses, we've got the pinks, we've got the corals, and we've got the reds. All of these beauties, guys. So here's the orange glow knockout. These are always going to be around $24.25, $25.98 in particular for this one here. Just a whole table of roses, guys. Never a shortage. I really, really like this plant, guys. This is Purple Showers Ruellia, also known as Mexican petunia. I have this guy in my yard, bought it maybe 2 or 3 years ago, came back twice reliably, and it spreads very, very slowly. It is not invasive for us here in Georgia, but I've read that it is invasive in parts of Florida. What I like about this is that the hummingbirds go nuts for this guy. They absolutely adore those purple blooms, guys. Let me know if you have the purple showers, and I'll show you mine when I do my May tour. They do really, really well in my garden. They've brought in a new shipment of the Hawaiian tie. Now, when I first saw these in my store, I used to go nuts over it because I'm like, oh my goodness, it's so pretty. I can put it at a center part in my, it could be the thriller in my container. And they're usually very expensive. But the good thing about the Hawaiian tie is that there's usually more than one plant in the container. So I can already tell there's 4 plants in here. There's 3 plants in here. There's 3 plants in here. So you can make it a centerpiece, one of each, a centerpiece in your container. These will not come back for me if I keep them outside and if we get a bad winter. $17.98, guys, here at Lowe's. Says it requires part sun. Let me know if you have this beauty in your garden and how it does. They have a lot of them here at Lowe's. I gotta tell you guys, I almost gave up on the lemon lime Nandina. I've noticed over the years it always looks like it's struggling, and I just didn't understand why. I finally moved it and put it in a container, and it is thriving now. This is a second plant. I've learned that for me personally does better in a container, and sometimes it takes a while for us to realize that. This beauty here, I bought them at the same time I bought all those Obsession Nandinas, and the Obsession Nandina is doing great. I mean, he or she's not worried about that. But the lemon lime Nandina always seems to have something going on. This beauty here is going to be $24.98, and it is in a 2 gallon. Says it grows 3 to 4 feet tall. Let me know if you have the lemon lime Nandina and how it does in your garden. That's pretty much it for me, guys. Let me know what you think, and let me know how things are going at your store. Are you seeing any new plants? Have you started to see the plants that take a lot more sun and a lot more heat? Let me know what you think. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my new videos. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.